Welcome to your doom.
Kick it off.
Fuck is going on, everybody? Y'all know
Jesus
me.
Christ.
That's Atul, the two-man Katru. But tonight, I am joined by my assistant.
What are you doing?
Y'all know him as the Italian Battalion, a.k.a. the Pacifier of Portals, a.k.a. the Prince of Potions, a.k.a. the Gatherer of Grimoires, a.k.a. the Raider of Tomes, a.k.a. the Critical Strike
Are you
of Uber Strike, the Defender of Bells and Wells, a.k.a. the actual gift from Shalia, Justin Carcassole.
If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can watch my awkward and surprised face as all of this transpired because this wasn't cleared with me, sir. This was a lot. I'm impressed. That was pretty great. I mean, I didn't know I had all those titles going into this, but Jesus Christ. That was
What's
pretty
up, man?
dope. I don't know. What's up with you? Clearly we're thinking about this a lot today.
I actually wrote that on vacation in Italy while I was really drunk.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
serious?
a while back. Yeah, it's a while back.
You've been sitting on that for that long.
That's right. I've been pretty excited.
Holy shit. Oh,
We
boy.
are reviewing Warhammer: The End Times Vermintide today.
That's a hell of a name.
Yep. But before we jump into it, some sad news in the comic industry. Stan Lee at 95 has passed away.
Yep.
So I think we'll give him a little salute.
I think so.
Thank you, Stan, for all the great comics and characters.
God bless you, man. R.I.P.
Other than that, I think a quick mention of the pub crawl that we went on.
Yeah, man. Roncesvalles. Roncesvalles, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Ronci is short. Roncesvalles is the name. So we went down there and we hit maybe like 8 bars, I'm going to think.
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we started at 3 o'clock. Similar thing last year, but I think we did an episode right after the pub crawl last year. And it definitely...
It was the day after.
It was the day after. I was definitely super hungover for that one. But this one was great. Last year we had a ton of people, but this time was not as many people. It was just like way easier to manage.
Yeah, I'm super into like losing friends over the course of a year. It really makes things easier in terms of doing these things, right?
That's right.
Like,
That's right. And when I don't lose them, I just, have them killed and bury them under my porch.
that's what that smell was. Fuck.
But yeah, no, it was a smaller group. So, and like, it was a cool hood. There's actually like at least 2 bars there. I think I'd go back to.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like the one with the pinball
in the back.
pinball
Yeah,
that place was kind of cool. I like
that
the
was cool.
Little section. Plus, it had a back patio, which
That's
during
right.
the summer would be pretty dope.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, and one place called the Cider House where everyone was having the mulled cider there. It was very, very
Fuck
good.
me, that was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that stuff was really good. It was like the mulled wine, except better. Maybe
Yeah.
not better, but different.
No, it's different.
Yeah,
it's
but good.
different.
Yeah,
So we had a great time. I'm definitely going to go back there. So there was a cider house. The other place I really liked was the Local. I love the look of the place. The aesthetic of the Local was very cool. So that's what happened recently. Anything else you wanted to chat about?
No, I enjoyed it. I'm glad you throw it every year, man. The t-shirts always look good. Like the design you had this year. I'm wearing the t-shirt right now. I'll probably put a link in the show notes with the actual art. But
That's right,
you want to explain this? Give us a little quick explanation.
So we call it from it's in Roncesvalles. So what I wanted to do was tie it back to the name of the street. So I called it From Beyond the Vale, but Vale is spelled Valles, just like the street name. And it's actually a picture of the idea was that when you go beyond the veil, it's usually beyond death or beyond our human understanding. So the idea was that we're explorers looking for, the best new beverage to drink. So the idea was that this is it's an astronaut going through a portal, and through the portal is like life and death, and he's a skeleton on the other side, but he's reaching for this beer floating in this like new dimension.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I was going for there.
Yeah, I really like it. And, a shout out to a company that we got. We had these printed
that's right,
at a place called Toronto Tees. I've had T-shirts made for me before from other people, or not other people, but other companies. This is by far the best quality that I've had.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Like the actual the material is nice and comfortable. The print feels good.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't
yeah.
feel like it's going to start peeling off or anything
right.
like that. They did good work. So
That's right.
For
Yeah.
reasonable price, I'm impressed. So yeah, I think next time I need to print T-shirts. They're the ones that I'm going to go to. Plus, you could order online. It was dope. You could see like your T-shirt like
On
you
the
basic. Yeah, you
on the
could
shirt.
set it up. It was really really intuitive. I was impressed.
Yeah.
As a
It was very
tech
cool,
head.
very successful. A lot of people printed shirts, and no, it was great. I had such a wonderful time. I'm definitely going to be heading back out to that hood.
No doubt. Yeah.
I think we're just going to jump in.
Let's do it.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Warhammer : The End Times - Vermintide,
That is okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
which is sadly not a clever marketing tool for a detergent used to wash your pet rat.
Okay. All right.
No, didn't get you on that one.
Didn't get me on that one. There was a snicker maybe, but that was it.
Yeah, so let's talk. We've been playing this game for a little while, like the summer, right?
Yeah,
Since
I
before
think that's
that.
when you introduced it to me. I've been playing it a lot more than you, I think, but that also is because I work from home and slack off occasionally. but yeah, it's a good online, like it's a first person shooter. It's online co-op. You can't play offline, to my knowledge.
Offline, meaning if you did not have an internet connection.
Yeah, like you
That's
can't start the
interesting.
game.
I don't. Yeah, I haven't even tried that, to be honest, but that's highly possible that is the case.
Pretty sure that's the case. I've never actually tried, and any time that I've tried and I lost the internet connection, it wouldn't let me get into the game.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: the game. Just a quick synopsis of the game, and then we'll jump into sort of audio, graphics, and gameplay. Quick synopsis: if you want to know what it is in a nutshell, think Left 4 Dead, 4-player co-op game, and you work together to basically battle through a level. But it takes place in the Warhammer universe. And when you say first-person shooter, I would use that term very lightly.
Yes, agreed.
Because the game is almost all melee combat.
Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with. Maybe we'll jump into the audio.
Sure.
Is that all right? Can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
jump into audio? I actually love the audio in this game.
It's great.
It's so good, and I think that it informs the player of what's happening.
Yeah.
So it is a gameplay mechanic. The audio is definitely a gameplay mechanic. There are 5 characters. There's
Victor Saltspire is the witch hunter.
Witch
He's
hunter,
kind
yeah.
of the special. Let's actually, before we go into audio and the technical stuff,
Sure,
let's talk
sure.
a little bit about the actual game itself. So, as you said, it revolves around these different characters essentially going through the city of Uberschreik. And they're taking out these rats. These rats are invading. It's during this saga called the End Times, which is like the end of the Warhammer series or world or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know nearly.
It's like the from what I was
the
understanding.
Ragnarok
Yeah, it's
of the Warhammer.
It is Ragnarok of the Warhammer universe.
There you
That is
go.
correct.
So yeah, it's the end of times is where it's set through, and you've got these 5 hero characters that are essentially fighting this horde of rats.
Rat men.
Rat
They're
men.
bipedal rats of varying types.
Varying
so you've
types.
got like the lowly sort of low rats with no armor. You got clan rats. You've got storm vermin, which are armored rats. You've got rat ogres, big old rats.
Yeah.
And you've got ones with Gatling guns, and some with poison, and some with
Little hooks.
Yeah, like there's a lot, and a lot of them have special moves. Again, this is not a lot different from Left 4 Dead, but I think this formula works very well in this game.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. So of the 5 characters, they all kind of are they do play similarly. And I said before that they have different walk speeds. I think I am wrong about
Yeah,
that.
I
I
think
think they
they're
are
the
all the
same.
same. They feel different because some characters are a little higher, taller or shorter, and some are carrying bigger or smaller implements, but
Yeah.
I think they all move about the same. You've got Victor Saltspire, who's the witch hunter. His kind of thing is these dual-wielded pistols that he has.
So dope.
I don't think there's no other characters that really wield them in that capacity, so that's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
You've got Carillion, who's the elf. Her
Yeah.
specialty's kind of with bows
bow,
and
yeah.
arrows and
But, yeah.
fast attacks. That's
Yeah.
her thing. Is her attacks are really
Double
fast.
blades, yeah.
The double blades
Yeah.
and stuff are really really quick. You've got the dwarf, Gorkson, Baldwin Gorkson, Baldwin, Borgin,
Alec Baldwin.
Barden Gorikson. I just like saying the names because they're actually really nice. They're well named.
Yeah.
He's basically really, really short, which is nice because when you're fighting like the rats that are really small, if you're a tall character, you have to look down and strike.
Yeah.
But you're just looking forward, so it makes it a lot easier. And he's kind of a blend of, I'd say a blend of Saltspire and Kruger.
Okay.
Where he's got shield implements, but he's also got some good guns. And so he's got a cool mix, but he's shorter, which makes it a little bit better. You've got Sienna Fuggenassus. Fucking asses. She's the witch, the bright witch, and she's got basically she doesn't use guns, she's got her fire powers, and they've got different things where you can have bolts or make big explosions.
That's right.
And she wields, I think, maces and two-handed swords and shit.
Swords, yeah. I think it's single-handed swords.
There's no ammo mechanic you have to deal with her. It's all about cooling down after you've done a bunch of fire stuff.
Yep.
So that's kind of the trade-off with her. And then you've got Marcus Kruber, who's the soldier, who's kind of like a taller version of the dwarf.
Yep.
His specialty's kind of bigger attacks with big shields, and he's more. I'd say he's more for defense and kind of long range too, is because his guns are pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So those 5 characters are essentially the ones you can play as. There's a lot of overlap between the characters, so which is a good thing.
I wouldn't say it's a ton of overlap. I mean, all the guns are unique to each character. All the weapons are unique.
Not.
They're not the same weapons for each character.
Yeah, they are.
No,
there's a lot of overlap in terms of the weapons, aside from the witch and the elf. Gorikson's, yes, absolutely. Gorikson's handguns and stuff are similar to stuff that Kruber has.
But I mean, the design and the implements they're all different weapons, right?
They're slightly different, but they're not
do the same damage. They don't have the same reload speed.
Yeah, they do. Some of them are overlap. Dude, I'm telling you, the axe that I have for the elf or for the witch hunter is exactly the same. It's actually exactly the same as it is for the dwarf. 100%. Yeah, right. For sure that they are very similar, if not exactly the same.
But I mean, there's some weapons that are wildly different.
Yeah, right? There are. Like nobody else has the two-handed guns. Like there are some that are completely
Nobody else has
unique.
the rifle the dwarf has, the blunderbuss
right.
that the soldier has.
Those ones are unique. But the repeaters, those are shared across multiple ones, right?
The one with the spinning.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
Who else has that?
The witch
dwarf
hunter
doesn't have it for sure.
I don't know if the dwarf does, but the witch hunter and and Kruber, they both have one. They're slightly different. One's a little more powerful than the other. But they're essentially the same weapon.
Interesting.
So they're all very you have overlap between them, and I think the idea there is that you say you've got your main character, right, but you can't play as that person because you're jumping in a game that somebody's already playing as that character.
Yeah.
You can choose somebody else that's similar to them. So there's a little bit of overlap,
right?
Which is nice.
Okay.
I kind of like that idea.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyways, the idea is that you basically jump into this world and they have kind of a story throughout it. It's kind of a loose story. It's not really it's basically a bunch of missions.
Yeah, they've got a loose story. It's a bunch of missions, but the most and this coming back to sort of the audio is that the most you get out of the game in terms of plot and character development actually comes from the audio.
Yeah.
A lot of the banter between the characters, which was the other thing I was going to get. This game sounds great, but not only does it sound great, it's so well written.
Yes.
The banter between the characters is so great. If you hear it while you're traversing the level, depending on which characters are in the game, they'll actually talk to each other.
Yes.
To carry produce like a peon again.
I told you, Vernon. You're a driven man, Saltspire.
And you'll hear some of the same lines, repeated, but there's a lot of content there where if you just listen, you get an idea of what drives these characters and where they're from, and what their outlook is on the end times of this place, this Uberschreik place.
Right.
I enjoyed Barden's the dwarf's dialogue so much. I think he's so funny.
Yeah.
But also the witch hunter's voice.
He's an asshole.
Yeah. He's like a nasally. He's like a nasally British
asshole
aristocrat. Yeah, that's
sure.
what he is. So funny, so well written. But you
go for the armor, Kruber. He's just such a prick. It's dude, I don't like you. Dude, and I play as him more than anybody else.
The let's not get carried
Let's
away.
Not get carried away.
It's so good. That line is so good because it's so condescending.
Yeah.
He's such a condescending dick, but. All these characters have that type of fleshed out through
Yes.
the dialogue, and it's very, very well done. So that's talking about the heroes, but the audio in the game, the music's good.
Yep.
But the other highlight is the sounds of the enemies.
Yes.
They're always whispering in your ears, and they're saying stuff. I used to think that they weren't saying anything, but when I put on headphones and put it on loud, like they're saying stuff.
Yeah.
All well done!
And it's English.
Yes.
And then you can hear enemies coming.
Yep.
Like the hook rat that grabs you by the neck and drags you away. You can hear him. He's like the heavy breather,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
wheezer. Yeah. You've got the heroes will actually remark on what they hear or see. It's like, oh, that sounds like a rattling gun, and
Yeah.
that's the rat with the giant Gatling gun, and yeah, the enemies just sound great.
Yeah.
And the positional audio on this thing is fucking. It's
important.
It's important.
Yes.
It's a gameplay mechanic.
Yes.
The audio in this.
That way
for
you can
sure.
kind of keep an eye out. Have you ever played the Last Stand mode?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
I want to. Yeah,
We'll
I
do
haven't
that later.
tried that. Yeah.
So the Last Stand. So there's two modes in the game. There's the adventure kind of thing we were talking about, where it's essentially level based. Some are linear, where you're going through the level from start to end, and others are kind of like you go to one wide area and you have to perform a task, and when you're done, then you get in your thing and you get the fuck out.
Right.
But the Last Stand is basically you go into one wide open
waves.
area and it's
Yeah.
just waves.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's a pretty cool idea. But the important thing is you've got 4 directions in the Last Stand that
Yeah.
the enemies can come from, and you'll hear like the footsteps of
Yeah.
come down. But the thing is the positional audio is where you're facing.
Yeah.
Then you'll be able to face around, like spin around, and you'll be able to hear. Oh shit, this is where they're coming from.
Yeah, you'll
because it's
actually-
more front facing.
Exactly. Even on
it's-
stereo, like
Yeah.
it works on stereo.
Stereo,
really
it's
well,
actually
too.
better.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
actually better from stereo because you know exactly what you're hearing.
Yeah.
If you've got the stereo on, you'll hear stuff from the back a little bit.
Yeah.
Or sorry, if you've got the surround, you'll hear stuff from the back, so it's
yeah.
a little confusing. Stereo, perfect. That's
Yeah.
the best way to play this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, the audio is it's really great, outstanding in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Great voice acting, very well written, great enemy designs,
Yeah.
and the music's great. I know I said that before, but like when you're getting to that last part of the level where you're like trying, you've just cleaned up and it's like get out before like the place collapses, like this crazy dissonant like rock, the like guitar thing comes on, and it's just like. You're like, oh my! It's really getting the blood pumping,
Yeah,
when you're like running out of this place, narrowly escaping. But even in the quieter moments, some of the strings in the game, I listened to the album at work actually, and it's good, man. It's good. It's good ambient stuff. Really, really suits the game.
Right.
So that's the audio. Let's talk about how it looks.
Sure.
The game, how it looks. So we talked a lot about the characters. Again, I think the characters look fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
The only beef I've got is that Corellian, who is the elf, is wearing this like fur boa.
Yeah. And is kind of leaned over and
he's
hunched.
like hunched over a little bit with like big shoulder. It's like an animal skin or something.
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
So every time she pops up on my screen, I shoot her or slash at her because I think she's a rat.
Yeah.
And that might just be me, but I think that's the only beef I have with it. Everyone has got this the visual style of the game. We're playing on the PS4,
Yeah.
so not as good looking as the as the PC version.
Yeah.
But there are just like little design touches in this game that make it so great. You start every game in the hub, which is like the pub, the
Yeah.
bar,
Yeah.
which by the way is a place I would go to all the fucking time. That is my kind of bar right there. It looks great. It's cozy. It's got the fireplace, all dark wood, like, minus the Ragnarok rat situation. I think I would definitely be hitting that spot.
What do you think Orkin charges to deal with that?
The bartender?
No, Orkin, like the pest control company. I feel like that'd be a pretty penny.
Yeah.
Fucking goddamn rats.
But yeah, so you start in there, and even the room that you're in, that your character pops out, reflects the character.
Yes.
So like I've been using like the bright wizard, who is the fire lady, we will call her from now on. In her room, she's got little like embers, like of things that are burning, like little fires burning here and there. And I think the Kruber's got like beer
Yeah.
in his room.
Yeah. They all have unique things in their rooms for sure.
Yeah, because Kruger's like, if you listen to his dialogue, the man is just a lush.
Oh, he's hammered the whole time.
He's just drunk as fuck the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like really great designs, and the look of the game is great because it's one of those games again, like Earth Defense Force, it renders, I don't know, like 30, 40 enemies on the screen at once without losing control,
right?
Without the frame rate taking a dive too badly, because the frame rate does chug a lug a little bit, but nothing like Earth Defense Force, which frame rate just, they're like, frame rate? What frame rate? This one they don't dip too low, but like it does render a lot of units on the screen at once. And all the rats have great design aspects, great lighting and stuff like that. So I definitely enjoyed the visual style of the game.
Yeah, the character designs on all the hero rats as well is really cool. Like the hook rat's very gangly and awkward looking, whereas like the assassin rat's very compact and he's got the huge blades. Like as soon as you see them and hear them, you know exactly what you're looking at.
That's right.
You know, it's never ambiguous. The fucking rat ogre is just this jacked up.
Yeah.
It's
the juice bag rat.
The juice bag rat, man. They did a good job with just those designs as well.
Right.
Did you notice too when you're equipping all the trinkets and stuff like that, they get hung off of the characters too?
Yeah, they actually appear on you, and the weapons. Like you were saying, some of the weapons may play similarly.
Yes.
There's definitely a wide array of weapons, and they're all quite unique.
Yes.
But they all have a unique look to them too. So like if you can hold them up and look at them, and you actually feel like you're holding a different weapon.
Yeah.
Because it looks visually, like stylistically, they're all different.
Absolutely.
But any other words? So some of the downsides, it is an older game.
Oh yeah.
We bought this on sale for maybe like $12 Canadian or something like that this year. Mm-hmm. And it's an older game, and you get like there's one point where you go into a hedge maze, and the hedge maze is like rectangles of hedges. You know, like they're literal rectangles.
Yeah.
So, when you get close to stuff, it doesn't look the best. Kind of like EDF. There's a lot of similarities, I think, between these two games.
EDF.
The game looks better than EDF, way
Yes.
better, but suffers from that same sort of like getting up close.
Yeah.
But great. That does not ruin the game at all. The only other thing I would docket points for is that I get that this is a dreary time, in the time of end times in the Warhammer series. But man, it's like, after you play it, I don't know how many hours you think we put into this, maybe 70, 80, maybe more. But man, you can get tired of looking at a crypt or like something at night where things start to muddle together. Mm-hmm. I enjoy the levels that are like at least overcast during the day.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy those. Sometimes I find myself, I'm like, oh, another crypt or another graveyard, or we're in the tunnels again, or like stuff like that. So I was hoping for a little more variety in the levels. But yeah, I think that's the only other thing I would dock in terms of visuals. Like, just be really dark.
You just want to travel to more unique places. You don't want to keep going to the same place over and over again.
No, I just don't want I don't want it to be dark all the time.
Why are you so high maintenance?
I just don't want it to be dark all the time.
Why not?
Because
you are the fucking person. You're the only person I know that turns off more lights in the house than I do.
Yeah.
You're constantly like, God damn it, this place is way too bright. I'm like, dude, there's one light on.
Yeah. No, that is true. But I think maybe it's mostly because of my TV. It's old. So some of like the night scenes, like they start to like things aren't.
You just need to invest in a better TV.
I think so. A brighter TV might be the answer to my question. But it gets dreary. Fucking crypts again. We're underground again.
That's coming from the same guy that's like, I'd totally drink in this pub that looks like something out of medieval times.
Yeah.
The only light in there is the fire.
Yeah.
God damn it, man.
Yeah.
God damn it, man. I'd be more complaining about like things like you can't go into the inventory occasionally.
Oh, yes.
That's kind of a shit
I'm sorry,
show.
yeah.
There's like bugs in there that drive me nuts. And then sometimes when you're playing and you're on a laggy host, you'll be swiping at characters and then they'll just run right through you and then they'll die behind you randomly.
Right.
Like there's stuff in the game that like could be improved. Whatever they're doing with like their online code is not great.
So let's wrap up the visuals and then we'll get into some of the gameplay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Anything else with visuals that you
No.
Right.
I was kind of going into like downsides of the gameplay.
So
that's kind of, we're done visuals. There's not much else to say visually.
They do a lot of fog, which I think they do well. in the game, like volumetric fog, where it's like, you know, it. I think that's not bad, but that coupled with, you know, the dark levels makes it hard for me to see.
Fucking glasses.
Makes it hard for me to see. Yeah, maybe that's why I'm trying to hit the elf all the time. I'm like, I'm not taking chances. I'm just gonna swipe at this guy. It could be a rat. I don't know. Yeah, okay. Well, if that's it, you don't have any other additional comments?
No,
okay.
No.
So let's talk about, you know, a little bit about the story, about the gameplay. We talked about some of the story already. It's Ragnarok in the Warhammer universe, and the rats are overrunning Uberstrike, and you've got to go through all of these stages to do different tasks. Sometimes stages have, actually, I think most of them have very specific things you need to do, like some common stuff like get the barrels and place the barrels in the right place for the black powder to blow something up, or grab sacks of rice and bring them back to your
destroy the pillars.
Destroy the pillars.
Every level's got something.
Yeah, exactly. And the game works with 4 players going in, and you always have 4 players. You never have, like, if you're playing by yourself, you don't play by yourself. You play with 3 bots. If you have 2 people, you play with 2 bots.
Yeah.
And the game doesn't scale based on how many are joined. If there's a single difficulty, and when you jump in, you got 3 bots, it's as difficult if you had 4 human players.
I think so. Yeah.
That's my general takeaway from the game. It's hard as fuck even if you've only got 3 bots. So even if you're playing with bots. So and you start from the beginning, and you basically just have to get to the end. Yeah, it's pretty linear.
Yeah,
like all the levels are pretty linear.
Correct. Yeah.
They have a couple of concepts during the game, like, at the end of every level, if you win, you get to roll. It's kind of like a D&D kind of roll, and you get loot, right? So, like, loot boxes. We got our loot boxes in this game, and that's how you get new weapons, new gear for your characters. So that's kind of the general gist. Couple of things that make it or spice it up. They have a couple of, like, trade-offs in mid-level. You can find something called a tome, which you can put in your inventory, but it takes the place of a med pack.
Yeah.
So carrying that to the end is a risk. You could also get something called a grimoire, which takes the place of a potion, and that lowers your entire team's life. But all of these things give you better chance to get dope-ass gear at the end of the level.
Yeah, and the gear is important. I mean, you need to be able to progress into higher difficulties, and, you know, the levels get progressively harder down the chain. You need better weapons. You need things that have traits on them where, you know, every time you strike, you might get some health back.
That's right.
Or you might replenish some ammo. Those traits per weapon become super fucking important. Like, without that, you're not going to pass.
Exactly.
So then you also have the concept of trinkets, which essentially they're like power-ups to your character.
Sure.
When you get up to a certain level, you can equip 3. And then with those trinkets, you'll get, like, you know, increased run speed or reduce the damage from these characters or whatever it is.
Yeah, I got one that gives me a 15% chance of, if I use a medical item, that it doesn't get used. So essentially, I'll use it. I'll drink the potion to increase my health.
Yeah.
But there's a 15% chance that it'll just pop a new one back into the slot.
Right.
So it's like, those become, and we're talking at the higher difficulties, those become like make or break type of traits.
Absolutely.
So we started on normal, and we were playing, and it actually, the ramp up to understanding the mechanics of the game, I think it was really great. Mm-hmm. Easy to play. Incredibly hard to master. Like, it hits that sweet spot. We thought it was a really hard game at the beginning. I remember thinking that, but as you play a little more, the visual touches tell you what's going to happen. The way your enemy is swinging, the way they're charging at you, blocking. Yeah. They have the concept of blocking. They have the concept of sidestepping, dodging. And all of that comes together when you get to the higher difficulties, when you get to hard and to nightmare. And I haven't even tried Cataclysm yet.
We need to unlock it.
We can't even get there. Yeah. So there's a lot of replay value here, as long as you find the gameplay loop fun, which I certainly do.
It's a good game. Like, I'll say this in terms of the game. It's a fun game to kind of jump into. You spend like 20, 30 minutes on an episode or on a level. Win or lose, fuck it, you're done. Like, that's right. What it is. But it's kind of like, even if you win or lose, there is something rewarding in just going ham on some of these rats.
Yeah, dude. Like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the crunch of truly great melee combat. Yeah. This game is the first game I've ever played that has made melee combat this fun and accessible. It is so satisfying to get like a bunch of enemies together and do a strong swipe to the side and all of their heads pop off.
Yeah,
You know, like, and just the amount of the blood gets on the screen, and it's just like it's visceral.
Yeah.
When you hit something like an armored enemy, your sword or hammer or whatever, or I mean, if you have a hammer, it'll go through. But like your sword or axe or whatever will bounce off. It'll stop. There'll be vibration in the controller.
Yeah, you feel it.
It's so great. And just comparing that to, I know these are older games, but like Skyrim looks like this game in only that it's a first-person perspective and a lot of melee combat. And that game felt super floaty when you attack someone. Your sword or weapon just goes right through them, through air.
Yeah.
Basically, this game, it's not fucking air. You feel every strike when it hits flesh. The sound coupled with the force feedback on the controller, there's really nothing quite like it. And it is kind of intoxicating.
True.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the melee combat is definitely the highlight. But there's melee combat, but there's also, we talked about guns.
Yeah.
Right? So like the witch hunter's guns, you know, when you look at the screen and he's firing each of those pistols, one of the things I love is when you're looking at the character from another character's point of view, he's firing the pistols, but they're one-shot pistols. So he's firing one and dropping it and throwing it off to the side, firing the other one and dropping it and throwing it to the side and grabbing new ones each time. Playing as the character, you would never know because you don't see where his hands are going.
Right, yeah.
But watching him, like watching characters fight, is actually a lot of fun too, just to see what they look like.
True, yeah. No, that makes sense. What else? I was thinking about like some tips and shit that we could talk about. So like you'd mentioned about movement and dodging and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like those are probably the most important things in the game. Knowing how to play defense. Offense is easy. Swipe, hit, kill, done.
Yeah.
Shoot, bang, bang, reload. But actually staying alive is completely reliant on whether you know how to get in and out of situations and knowing your space.
And not getting hit.
And not getting hit.
It's like huge.
Yeah, exactly. Like even one hit could be a problem.
Yeah.
You need to not get hit in this game. I know it sounds obvious, but like you cannot stress how important it is to be able to play defense in this and how to get away from situations and go in and out.
There's no healer because typically in like, you know, games like this, you have someone who can heal people.
Yes, yeah.
There's
healing
no
character.
healer in the game. This is all based on, and as the levels of difficulty increase, the med packs become, you know, more sparse.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So taking a hit is actually a more serious. Taking a hit that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Becomes winning becomes harder and harder if that happens as the difficulty goes up. So you really need to learn to minimize the amount of times you get swiped. It's not about dying. Right. It's really about just keeping your health as high as it can be.
Yeah.
And sacrificing that health when it really matters.
Yes.
Right? Like when you've got something like the giant juice bag rat chasing you, he's going down. Like you're going to lose life, but distract him so that other people can, you know, hit him from behind.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Now I now find myself in Nightmare when we do Nightmare Run, and we'll post the video at some point. If I get hit and it's unnecessary, or I get cheaped, someone hits me from behind, I just get so angry. I'm like, fuck, like that little bit of life, you know, that can be the difference.
Yeah.
That can make all the difference.
Yes.
And so that brings me to another pet peeve I kind of have with the game. With all the excitement, with all the range combat when people are coming towards you, and then jumping into the melee just feels so seamless. It's all so seamless. They use an AI director to sort of generate the enemies on the map. The director kind of sees how you're doing and like places enemies on them, and it's random. It's never really the same. Sometimes it can be cheap as fuck. Yeah. So like, I mean, I remember one time we were in this level and we like went up this, was it a ladder or we're in a tunnel, and storm vermin are the armored rats, and you have to hit them with strong attacks. You have to hit them in the head. The other shit will just bounce off.
Yeah, they're strong.
Yeah, they come in squad, the storm vermin squad, and you hear them marching, and typically you would avoid that.
Yeah.
But this time the AI director decided to just drop this group on our heads.
Yeah.
Like there was no chance of us avoiding this, and you should be at a higher difficulty. You don't want to just run in and be like, I'm going to fight 8 storm vermin now. Like that's a critical mistake.
Yeah.
You want to run and hide, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we'll let the patrol pass. But this one spawned it on our heads,
Right on
and
our
there
heads.
was no way around it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. You get spawned things from behind. You get cheap shotted. It happens sometimes, but it only pisses me off because I like the game so much.
Yeah.
I think.
Another tip, if you are playing this, with people and not just bots, if you really want to pass level and it's a challenging level, turn on your chat. Talk to the people.
Yeah.
Even if one person is chat and nobody else does, at least they can kind of direct people what to do, what's happening. It's very, very key. You need to communicate this game. Without that, not everybody's playing on the same page, and it's a problem. That's something that needs to be done.
That's right. Do you think that this game is playable by one person? Like if you're going to solo the game?
Yeah.
I think so too. I played solo mostly at the beginning. I mean, we both did.
I do too.
think.
Yeah. It's key actually, I find, because you can. It's a good way to farm stuff, especially if you go on higher difficulties at earlier levels. Like the first 2 or 3 levels, I can clear on Nightmare with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when Cataclysm comes, I'll probably be able to do that.
Yeah.
But later levels become more challenging, and the levels where it requires you to have some smarts. So for instance, the levels where you've got to get a bunch of barrels and stuff.
Yeah.
You're the only one doing that because the bots can't help there. They're not doing anything. Or if you have contracts or whatever for getting tomes, they can't help there. You can only hope that they don't, because they'll prioritize health over tomes.
Right.
So
that's right.
You've got to make sure that if you're going for tomes, that you fucking grab all the health, drink it all, and then leave nothing for them.
Exact same thing happened to me when I was soloing, but it's totally possible. In a lot of the cases, I actually prefer the bots.
Yeah, because then you get
we were just playing the other
you
night.
Idiots.
Yeah, we just playing the other night, and you had someone join the game. I'm like, oh great! It was like a level 42, and I'm like a level 30 something. You're a level 40 something. Kind of gives you an idea of where we stand over the
experience.
Experience wise. And I'm like, oh, he's obviously
okay.
Probably knows what's going on, but the specialized enemies drag you away, and if they attack you and get on top of you, you need an ally to knock them off.
Yeah.
This guy's off in fucking La La Land.
Yeah.
And he gets grabbed by one of these hook rats, and I'm like, we can't actually get to him. He's so far away.
No.
So that would never happen with bots because they're always they are on your ass.
Yeah.
They are totally on your ass. And actually bots have saved me more than human players have saved me. Except for that one time we did a Nightmare run with some really good other people.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was a lot of fun. That was blood was pumping on that.
Yeah, true.
But most of the time when we play together and then we have the 2 bots, actually I think things work out. It's a nice balance because we always have someone flanking us. We always have someone behind us to our side.
Bots are good as long as you equip the characters with their gear, because when you start a game, whatever gear you've put on those characters reflects on what the bots are equipped with. And I mean, they're good for menial tasks like protecting you and killing stuff that comes on the screen. That's basically it, and that's what you need.
And reviving you.
Absolutely. Playing, that's part of the defense part, and that's it. But if you need them to be smarter than that, you're not going to get it. But they're good to get through linear levels. Yeah, anything where it's a wide open area and you've got to achieve one task where somebody's grabbing stuff and putting it somewhere else, they're not good for that. It's a lot more challenging with bots than it is with people.
Let's put it this way: you've soloed Nightmare.
On a lot of levels.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've the 2 of us have beat Nightmare levels and some of the later levels.
Yeah.
With 2 bots. So if you're concerned about this game being only, I gotta find other people to play with, you really don't. It's actually kind of enjoyable to play it on your own, just because you know that these bots are going to be on you all the time.
And also, you can a lot of times what I'll do is if I have to do a quest or something or a contract, I'll talk a little bit about what that is in a second, but I'll go to the lobby to see if there's anybody playing games already in that level that I'm going in. Maybe I'll just jump in that game.
Yeah.
So jumping into games with other people, you don't have to wait for people to come to you. You can just jump in a random game that's already there. So then you can start playing with people if you want to go down that road.
It is an older game. Vermintide 2 is out already on just not Xbox and PC. It's not out on PlayStation yet.
We're waiting for that.
This isn't getting as much traffic as it was before either, so you're typically not going to find a lot of people to play with.
Yeah, I've definitely played with the same people at least a few times. It's not a ton of people, but it's a fun game to jump in and out of.
Definitely.
Maybe we'll fucking get a few more people on it. So why do you like playing this game? What makes you keep coming back?
It's the melee combat. It's the combat.
Yeah.
It's that combat loop that is there's a risk reward there that makes the game exciting.
Yeah.
And the melee combat. You know what? More importantly, the seamlessness from range to melee. How quick you can switch weapon, shoot. They're getting closer, switch to melee, dive in, and like no other game I've ever played has ever really captured that kind of seamlessness. I loved as the witch hunter, just running forward with the guns, boom, boom, shooting at the crowd, then coming in with a two-handed, switching seamlessly to two-handed sword and carving these rats up.
Yeah.
Right? And no other game has done that.
Right.
Like, for me, like it's great. And Vermintide 2 is supposed to be even better, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
How about you?
For me, like I find every level to be a challenge in and of itself, especially when you're trying to like go a little farther by getting tomes or grimoires or something like that. That adds another level of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And being able to get through those levels and trying to get new gear, like I genuinely enjoy trying to get like a red weapon or something like that, or something like going through quests and contracts just to get whatever that thing is.
Yeah. It definitely feels rewarding. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings on like loot boxes and stuff, but in my opinion, this game does it well enough. Although I will say that I've been burned by rolls. When we beat a nightmare level and we brought along a tome, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a dope roll, and then the roll goes, and I'm just like, I'm left with some like mediocre weapon.
Yeah,
lower
shitty
tier
rolls
weapon.
are kicking the nude sack.
Yeah, and that hurts. But the fun that I had getting to that point actually usually outweighs that.
True.
For me, like the disappointment of not getting the thing that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a loot system. You don't buy anything. There are no in-game. There are no microtransactions or anything. But I do wish the game was a little more lenient on what kind of gear you get.
It's you know what though, you can augment what gear you get through the rolls by using what you get, trading them in.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
there's
using
a crafting system.
There's a crafting system. Using the forge and the what is it, the Shrine of Solace or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
With that, you can actually buy types. So you can't buy a specific weapon. You can buy like types. You can get like a weapon for this character that is a gold status, or not only just that, but it's also a melee weapon.
That's right.
Or a gun or something like that.
Yeah.
So you can get stuff from it, but you've got to make sure you're doing the contracts and the quests. So the contracts are like little per level things, and then quests are like, after you get so many contracts, you get this thing. And that's where I got like a red axe from, and I'm currently working on a red sword for the witch hunter.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that stuff and getting the loot from that, be it like resources, like stuff that you can craft weapons from.
You can essentially buy weapons if you get enough of a certain type of resource, which I wasn't cluing into the board.
Yeah.
I was really relying on these rolls.
Yeah.
And like beating these high levels.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was getting burned on those rolls, but it sounds like I should be taking more contracts, getting more of those resources, than just like maybe buying what I want.
Yes, 100%.
So there's multiple ways that you can melt down old weapons you don't use to get crafting items and all that stuff. So there is a recyclable sort of thing there. It's not super frustrating, but again, I like the game a lot and I want to get better at it. So like the fact that it takes me a little while to get up to that point,
it's a little frustrating.
It's a little. Yeah. I just said it's not frustrating,
but it's fucking.
It's fucking.
I was like, you're lying at your goddamn teeth.
Yeah. It's a little frustrating. I think the only other thing I wanted to mention is another gameplay mechanic in here that I fucking really hate. Ledges.
The platforming in this game is a shit show.
Yeah, so they do have minor platforming in this game. It's usually typically to get an item, like a tome or a grimoire, those secret items that you carry to the end and improve your roll. Man, it's fucking awful. Like they should just I hope they get rid of the platforming entirely, because platforming in a first-person perspective really does kind of suck, no matter which way you cut it.
Yeah.
And if you can actually fall off ledges here, and you start hanging off the ledge, and it's as if you're down. Yes. So someone has to come and help you. So now you have like a big juice bag rat knocking people left, right, and center. And if he hits you and you go flying across the stage, you go flying right off a ledge and you're out.
Right.
Nobody's going to come get you because they're busy trying to, not get smashed into a bloody pulp, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like the whole ledge mechanic should just go away. Like, I don't know how to do
like
that.
You said, a lot of the ledge stuff is really a nice to have and not something you typically have to do. There's a couple we're having to like run across small platforms and stuff. Those are kind of annoying in some regards.
Yeah.
But like the really complicated jumping stuff is really not something that has to be done per level. I find it's just like if you're going for those special things.
Yeah.
But then them and of themselves are pretty important because getting grimoires and tomes get you better rolls.
That's true.
And
There comes that risk reward thing.
Yes, exactly.
So yeah, I fucking hate ledges, but we got to do it to get the better.
Hate ledges.
But you get to get the good gear. So
yeah, true.
yeah.
True.
So I think that's
the game, man.
that is the game. It's
So
fucking
you
awesome.
recommend it to people. I'd love to get more people on this that we can like actually get in and play. If it's a reasonable
4-player.
price.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 4-player game. We do have the LAN party coming up, so I mean, maybe we can convince people to buy this game. But yeah, it's it's a well-made game, and it's not a full price game.
I don't know about that.
It's not. I think Vermintide 2
Vermintide 2?
on the PC is like $40.
Yeah, but
Full price is $80.
right now, the end times is $53.49 for
Where-
the one we have.
Oh, on PSN?
On PS4, yeah,
PSN?
yeah.
Man, we got it for like $12, eh?
Yeah, we got it for dirt cheap.
That was really cheap. Yeah, if you find this game on sale, I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
It's,
I mean, even
it's
the
tremendously fun.
amount of playability we get through $53. Like, if we paid full price for this, I wouldn't even be mad.
No,
like,
yeah, I wouldn't be
It's
either.
a fun ass game, man.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
I would not be mad about it either. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think, is there anything else you wanted to mention about the game?
No.
It got me interested in the Warhammer sort of universe, so I've been looking for Warhammer books that take place around this time, but they're not actual stories as far as I can tell. Maybe somebody in our out of our 8 fans could correct me, but it's based on a Games Workshop role-playing game, which is a tabletop game.
Yeah.
And that's got like figures that people paint. So this whole like subculture, and people paint the figures, and then they have a game that goes with those figures. And so where people can like they have terrain built out, and they they roll die to see how accurate something is or how big a blast radius is for this. That's Warhammer 40K. Sorry, but anyway, bottom line is that the game is the lore is built into the role-playing game.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no novels or anything like that in this medieval Warhammer universe. But Warhammer 40K, which is the Space Marine like opera kind of thing going on, that has a ton of novels. So I actually started reading those.
Yeah.
Because there is what I would consider a sister game to this called Warhammer 40K. Oh man, I forgot the name of the game. And
It's on PlayStation.
Yeah, and I was thinking that's a game we could play next once it goes on sale. Yeah, you could probably just trim this part out.
No, I'm not trimming shit.
Okay.
40K.
It's Warhammer.
It's $59.99.
What's it called?
40K Inquisitor.
Not Inquisitor, the other one.
I don't know, man.
Space Marine Hulk, Space Wing Death Hulk, or something like that. That's what. It's also an equally ridiculous name to this Vermintide game, but it is a first-person 4-player co-op game, but takes place in the Warhammer 40K universe, which is all science fiction. So this game, Vermintide, sort of dragged me into this universe because of the storytelling that was built into the game with the dialogue and the character designs and the level designs and the enemies. I wanted to know more.
Yeah.
So I started looking. So yeah, there's it's called, I think the game's called 40K Space Wing Death Hulk. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy game, but similar game. So I'm thinking maybe at some point when that gets to be dirt cheap, we'll play that.
So basically, we're cheap fucks.
Yeah,
We don't want to play.
That's why
pay
we're
full
reviewing
price.
games that are like 3 years old. I don't know if you guys notice on this show, all we do is review old ass games. That's because
what
we
we
find
do,
them on
dog.
sale for $10, and we're like, hey,
Yo, check this out.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
It's cheap, and have you guys heard of this? This is crazy. Whereas people have like played it and traded it and gave it away already.
Gaming on a budget, son.
That's right. That's how we do. That's how we do.
How we do. All right, listen. You opened this show with the pretty much the most epic opening I think I've ever seen in my life. How are you gonna end it?
I got nothing. I just blew. I blew it on the at the beginning. Yeah.
As I was saying that, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut to black. That would be it. That would be the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Right now. Wouldn't even say bye, peace out. No,
Peace.
none of that. Click.
No. You got anything else?
Oh man, I hope that this inspires somebody to check this out and keep an eye on whether this goes on sale or not again.
Get Vermintide 2. if you can.
Vermintide 2 whenever it comes out on PlayStation 4, or if you're an Xbox person, it looks like it's worth it. Like,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
quality of the game looks great. So
Definitely.
yeah, definitely check out Vermintide. Great game. Get on it so that way we can see your usernames out there on the PlayStation 4. And then
That's right.
when number 2 comes out, we'll see you there too.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, this is Atul.
This is Justin.
Peace.
Take care, guys.